For now, let's take a check at how international media has covered the summit. Uh, this is how Chinese media has covered it. Global Times, we're putting it on our screens. The Global Times headline says the future of China-US relations is bright. And this is the editorial that has been put out. Just very simply a straightforward sentence. The future ahead of the two nations together is bright. In fact, it also says today dialogue between the two sides is more equal, communication more pragmatic, and bottom lines clearer, demonstrating the potential for the bilateral relations to forge a new chapter through resilience. China Daily says, quoting Xi, that China-US should be partners, not rivals. China and US should find the right way for major countries to get along well with each other in the new era, said Xi Jinping on Thursday. So along with the US, China now taking on the leadership role on global affairs, saying both should work together and get countries of the world to work with each other. Then we also have the report of South China Morning Post, which says Trump arrives in China with tech titans and top aides for high-stakes Xi summit. The US president is greeted with elaborate ceremony as he arrives in Beijing for his first trip to China since 2017. And unlike his first trip to Beijing, the US leader was not joined by First Lady Melania Trump. Instead, he was accompanied by his son Eric Trump and daughter-in-law Lara Trump, signifying how Trump has put the focus of this summit on trade, tech, and tariffs. Daily Wire says that Trump and Xi open critical talks with handshake seen around the world, clearly speaking of the chemistry that the two leaders together have shown this time around, right after Xi had visited the US, now Trump in China, and those gestures speaking for themselves. Let's also see how Republican media has covered. A Wall Street Journal report says Trump and Xi begin superpowers summit on trade and war. Chinese leader hosts president in Beijing for thorny discussions and a show of stable relations. That's a very important line, a show of stable relations, that Wall Street Journal has put out. New York Times, which is Democrat media, let's see how it's covered. It says, as their leaders meet, American and Chinese people are drifting apart. I would actually open this for discussion. Chinese and American people are drifting apart. General Sudhakar, how would you like to address that?
Behind what you have just articulated, reading out the text of so many leading Western platforms, media platforms, you see, I don't think any newspaper has covered anything about the important event which is round the corner. I think Ambassador in our panel very beautifully covered. You see, though, every issue is being driven by that central event, that is the midterm elections which are due in November, and every effort is being made by Donald Trump to make amends and go back with some tangible success or the takeaway from China. Now, whether it happens or not, if it doesn't happen, well, he is definitely going to couch his articulations in a manner so that they can be projected as a victory, as success in this particular summit. Even if the success is not taking place realistically, there may be fictional success, but he is going to project and present in the same manner for the domestic constituent. Now, having said that, the question which you have raised with regard to people of Japan, of China, and the USA, to be very honest with you, Kriti, what comes to my mind is there is too much of lack of trust between these two countries. No matter how best they try to present themselves with sincerity and assuring body language. Still, China will not accept the commitment which are being made by USA on its face value. There will be a high element or high degree of suspicion about everything that Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, by and by, in past 1.5 years or so, particularly his tenure 2.0, and he has made himself as a incredibly trustworthy kind of a person in any kind of dialogue, in any kind of international relations. So it will be very difficult. They will have a lot of things coming out, but still, China is going to take it with a pinch of salt and keep actually counting this timeline of how much, 4.5 to 5 months now left. Because there is not speculation going by the TRP rating, the popularity in USA. Donald Trump is likely to be losing out the forthcoming elections, and he will become a very weak president thereafter. So, whatever commitment China makes, they are going to be valued against this particular cost benefit analysis quadrant. Anything they invest now should give them some degree of benefit later. If the benefits are more than 50%, China would like to go in for it, because ultimately they're also looking at the rejuvenation of the Middle Kingdom by 2049. They also want to celebrate 1st August 2027 as the centenary celebration of PLA, and they also would like to have some degree, begin the process of reunifying Taiwan, maybe the smaller islands which are hugging the coastline of China. They could possibly, they have managed to subvert the minds of the people in the smaller islands. They claim that they have penetrated into the way of life. Sooner or later, maybe in foreseeable future, they will face the wrath of, or the acts of reunification, whether they like it or not. There are many things which are very difficult to be speculated or assessed, but we are definitely heading for the strategic realignment of the global order. When I say strategic realignment, there is a hidden agenda with which America has come to engage with China. It is not China which is engaging. It is not, China has not gone to America. America has come to China. And that hidden agenda is, much against the dislike of China, to the best of my understanding, America is trying to push the card or push the hidden agenda of G2. China does not believe, doesn't want to, like Ambassador very rightly brought out, China is not a willing participant for shouldering the responsibility of whichever portion of the global order is supposed to be. And China does not want to go ahead in this concept of J2.
All
It
right,
believes
Jayendra
in
Sudhakar,
narrative.
Xi Jinping has begun his address. Let's